Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Our New Normal. Tonight's episode is a little extra special because it's our last one of the semester. We have a lot of really fun things lined up for you, and we'll be taking you into the control room to show you guys at home what all goes into making a live television show. And as always, we'll keep you up to date with things happening here on campus as well as around the world. We may even have a few more surprises up our sleeves, so stick around.
Hello?
Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to get a bite to eat with me or watch a movie?
A bite to eat? A movie? I can't, I'm busy.
Busy doing what?
Studying.
Studying for what?
For finals!
Finals? So I have to try to cram 18 weeks worth of studying into 1 week?
Listen, I haven't even slept in 2 days.
I thought I had more time. I only have a 55% in one of my classes right now.
I'm on my 5th cup of coffee. Now going on my 6th cup.
Do you think my professor will believe me if I say that my dog ate the internet cord and then now I don't have internet access?
I haven't showered in 2 days. My skin's breaking out. I'm stressed. We're screwed.
Hey babe, how's it going?
Good. Are you doing anything tonight?
No, I'm just gonna be staying in. I've got a huge paper due by 11:59.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask if you wanted to go look at Christmas lights with me, but your paper's more important. We can go another time.
Like I really need to do well on this. Just having a really hard time focusing.
Well, I have faith you'll be able to get it done. Just lay off the phone and stay off your video games and you'll be fine. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Alright. Bye. He did lay off the phone and video games, Louise. Just don't know who I am. I'll get this done. Dude, I shot him like 4 times. How do I get to keep shooting the dude and then he just shoots me once and I die? Man, that's not fair. It's 5:30. I'm messing up. I gotta quit playing. I gotta get this done. Let me just knock this out and then I just keep playing. I don't have to worry about anything else. Can't do this on an empty stomach though. I need to get something to eat. I got them waffles in the freezer. Throw a little syrup on them and get some milk. Ooh, that sounds so fire. Alright, I'm gonna go get that. I mean, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I'm so full. I shouldn't have eaten all those waffles. So this paper. I can't do it. I can't do it. I need to take a nap. 26:30. An hour nap won't kill me. I'm yawning so much. Alright, let me set my alarm. $9:30. I thought I set my alarm for 7:30. Luis. No worries, no worries. Procrastinated and gotten stuff done before. I don't see why I can't do it now.
I lost hope when I saw casualties. I don't know what to do anymore. 2020, what I've been on lately. I lost hope when I saw casualties. I don't know what to do anymore.
And he scored. I really hate this game. Don't know why I play it. What's this? Grades are out. I don't know how I did. $68.5. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, at least I should get an A for effort.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the third installment of Wisdom with Whitney. Finals have come and gone, thank goodness. But I'm still feeling a little wound up. Are you feeling that too? Well, don't fret, because I'm here to help us all unwind and calm our brains before the next semester. The easiest thing we can all do is to breathe. You've done what you could this semester, and there's no need to look back and overthink about everything you could have done differently. Just let it go. If you're having trouble with that, here are some quick breathing exercises from DoYou.com. Wow, I already feel a little bit more relaxed. Another thing you can do to get the final stress out of the way is to sit back with your favorite snack and turn on one of your favorite shows or movies. Watching reruns is easier for the brain because you don't have to retain new information. According to psychologist Pamela Rutledge, rewatching a movie or show you really enjoy can be a simple way of controlling your emotions when the entire world feels out of control. And plus, watching TV can help us to escape from the real world. Some extra things you can do to help with de-stressing is spending time with loved ones, talking to your therapist, working out, getting some much needed sleep, and making sure that you're getting enough water. Maybe it will only take one of these, or maybe you'll need a combination of them, but I recommend finding out what works best for you. Thank you for tuning in to Wisdom with Whitney. I wish you all a happy new year and hopefully a more relaxed next semester. Welcome back. The semester and the year are quickly coming to an end, and for us college students, that means one thing: finals. It truly is the most stressful time of the year, but the end of the semester isn't just about skyrocketing stress levels and lack of sleep. It's also a time to reflect on the things that you did and learned, and that's exactly what we did. We considered both our individual and group experiences, and we wanted to share some of those memories with you. So let's see what the cast and crew of Our New Normal has to share.
What did you learn from the class?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll start. Okay. Well, definitely one thing that I learned is I'm more of an independent person. I tend to do my stuff, but I've learned to depend on other people to help out and do the work, because like this is, at the end of the day, this is a team collaboration. It's a team effort. What's it called? You can't just put the blame on one person. If things go wrong, I mean, it falls on all of us. So learning to be able to work with everyone and being able to depend on everyone else to do what they need to do, as well as them depend on me to do what I have to do. I mean, it's one of the things that, I feel like I learned, one of the more important things.
Yeah, I feel like I learned to work under pressure. I feel like there was a lot of challenges throughout the class, but I feel like one after another, I started getting better at what I was doing. So,
what challenges did you face?
I mean, like timing was a bad one. Like there was we have a lot of videos we had to get on time,
Oh, like
And-
deadlines, meaning your deadlines?
Yeah, like the deadlines and also the other things we have to do at the same time because we're not just making the videos. There's also like other responsibilities that we have each time. Like I was the producer once, and that was pretty difficult. But I definitely learned more. I definitely learned a lot about like time management and stuff, and like communication and that kind of stuff. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and also, can I say it's because Art says this? Okay. So I'm going to say this because Art always stresses this a lot in every class I've had with him, and he stresses this a lot now. Pre-production. It is one of the most important things you could have when producing video, because if you don't spend enough time thinking about how the shot's going to look, how it's going to be lit, how it's going to sound, things like that can really influence on how good or bad your video is. And I've had stuff like that where I've shot some projects where I should have used a second camera, and I should have asked for help, and I didn't because I'm more independent. Like I said, I have to learn to be more dependent of others. And those projects I feel were the worst projects I had because I did it by myself and I stressed about it rather than asking for help from someone else.
I mean, I like the fact that in this class I was able to make a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty random, and it kind of like came together pretty good. And we recorded two music videos in total and 2 songs. I've done a couple behind the scenes. That was pretty fun. We would just go to Luis's place and record a song for hours, and then the other day we would just go record a music video, and it would just all come together. And I think that was pretty fun.
No, I think it's pretty fun too. Like just being able to do that. Like it's something that I've always wanted to make music videos because I've done it like in high school. I did music videos before, but I was like to do something like this and try things and watch music videos and try to replicate them or do things like that. It's definitely something that I really wanted to do. So being able to learn how to do that and use what I've learned in his past classes, what I've been learning there, and be able to do that, be able to make videos. It's fun. Being able to collaborate with someone.
Yeah.
Cool, and do that. Like, you know the music, and I took more of the video side, and it's cool. So what would you say is one of your favorite moments of the class?
Probably when Mordecai was getting interviewed.
Yeah, why?
That was so funny because normally he's not like that with me, and like I could see him being so nervous the whole time, and it was the funniest thing ever.
He's not used to being on camera.
No, he's not.
That's probably why.
I saw it
makes
coming
sense.
too. It was so funny. But yeah.
Yeah, like my favorite part, I mean, and it's kind of like tragic, but like his favorite part was like, so like the 3rd episode, we were kind of like, the 8 of us were kind of left because like you and Carlin, like you couldn't be there.
Oh, yeah.
Art, and then Brent had to leave as well. So we were all shooting it, and like we knew like it was a big challenge, but we tried our best. We gave it our best shot, and I don't know. I just learned to have fun with it. Like I even created my own persona, Cholo Santa, and I don't know. I mean, Zach really enjoys him, and he really likes him.
I wasn't
So I
there.
brought out. Yeah, I wish you could have been there. You would have enjoyed him
wish.
too. He was a really good personality, and I wish you would have recorded that. But
know.
yeah, no, it was really fun, and I don't know. That was fun. Also, definitely like being able to edit videos. I just like edit. I love
Yeah.
editing video. Like I just find it fun. I mean, it could be tedious at times, especially when you have to like blur something out because someone wore something that's trademarked and you have to really blur that out.
I hate those people.
Man,
I
definitely,
hate
right?
those people.
So, it really like. But other than that, it's really fun being able to do that, taking video, editing it, put some effects on it. Especially with the music videos, those were fun. The skits were fun, being able to use humor. Definitely, it felt good when I was sitting right here. People were watching that behind the scenes skit, and everyone was just laughing in the control room.
That was pretty funny.
Everyone was laughing, and I was like,
It's funny
wow.
because-
I made people laugh. That's cool.
As many of you know, there's a little thing called a pandemic going on. COVID-19 has completely turned the world upside down and has been one of the only things people have been able to talk about for months. Because everyone, in one way or another, has been affected by the pandemic, college students included. Coming up next, we're going to check in with Dobble to see how the pandemic has impacted the music industry, as well as looking at how the pandemic has affected this show. But first, I have the latest news with your COVID update. And for those of you who have somehow been able to completely avoid the news for the past 10 months, buckle up. New Year's Eve 2019. That was the last day of normal for the world. That same day, reports of dozens in Wuhan, China being treated for pneumonia from an unknown source were released. A month later, the first case of COVID-19 was diagnosed in the United States. And by March, The virus was present in all 50 states, and President Trump had declared it a national emergency. Now, almost a year later, the number of cases and deaths continues to grow every day. And the thing that everyone is looking for is just the light at the end of the tunnel. Luckily for us, that light finally came to view a few weeks ago when the pharmaceutical company Pfizer was the first to announce that their coronavirus vaccine is showing results of being more than 90% effective, making it the front runner ahead of vaccines from both AstraZeneca and Moderna. And to add to the good news, the FDA will meet on December 10th to discuss giving Pfizer's vaccine emergency use authorization, which means pending that authorization, people will be able to receive that vaccine in a matter of weeks, maybe months, with the potential of even more vaccines to be released. In the meantime, let's remember that the pandemic is still going on. In fact, our numbers are worse now than they were in the spring and summer. And with cold and flu season right around the corner, we have to be even more vigilant when it comes to keeping ourselves and others safe. That means staying home when possible, and especially when you're sick, thoroughly washing your hands, and most importantly, if you have to go out in public, please wear a mask. Also, practice social distancing, and to make sure you thank your first responders.
Today, I'll be listing my top 5 most listened artists during the pandemic. Some of them I found about during the pandemic, and some of them I knew about it before, but I started listening to them more during the pandemic. Number 5, Night Lowell. Every single track on his newest album was really good, and I like his new track Alone as well, so if you haven't heard of Night Lowell, you should definitely check him out. Number 4, Lil Peep. Now, most people know that I've been a fan of Lil Peep for quite some time now, but I found myself listening to it even more during the pandemic, and because of the re-release of his album Hellboy on streaming services, it became even easier for me to listen to him. Number 3, Teddy. Teddy is actually one of the artists that I found about during the pandemic, and it blew my mind. His style in hip-hop completely changes everything. I like his song Pray For You, I like his album Teddy, and you should check him out. Number 2, Brennan Savage. I like Brennan Savage for a while now, and during the pandemic he released his EP Slow Motion, and that is my favorite project from him so far. And it shows that how artists were able to create more during the pandemic, even though they're not able to tour or do anything social. And for number 1, we have Spaceman Zach. I found about Spaceman Zach back in May when the COVID was getting really bad, and he has become my favorite artist since then. He is the smallest artist on the list, but yet number 1. I love his lyrics and the way he uses his beats to mix them together, and if you haven't checked out Spaceman Zach, you should go and check it out for yourself. So there you have it. This was my top 5 most listened artists during the pandemic list. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you learned about new artists, and I recommend you guys to check him out. So, see you on another one.
You're going to hear a lot this episode about how all the individual parts of a TV show are made. But TV is a collaborative enterprise, so let's talk a little bit about how they all come together. Right now I'm standing on our green screen set, which we like because we can control the background. We can make it our logo, or this random graphic I found online. When we want a more casual atmosphere, we use the interview set. We use it not only for interviews, but also for some other segments. Wisdom with Whitney is filmed here, for example. We light the green screen and the interview set separately so that we have full control over the lighting. And we control the lights from our lighting console over here. This console stores all of the looks, so we can change the lights with the push of a button. But this here is just the tip of the iceberg. A whole lot of thinking goes on in the control room to make this TV show come to air. Let's go take a look. The control room is the brains of our operation. All of the important decisions during the show are made back here. Let's take a look around. All the way at the front, we have the multi-view monitors where we can see the program going on. Up at the front is the director, who switches all of the video and chooses what's going to go to air. The director communicates with the graphics operator, who sits over there, who creates all of the lower thirds that we use, as well as all of the green screen graphics. The graphics operator has a bunch of different inputs to the director's board, so they need to communicate about what the director can expect. Behind the director is the producer. While most of our show is recorded live, we do have a lot of pre-recorded segments, especially commercials. The producer manages playback across our 4 video servers, and just like the graphics operator, has to tell the director where the next video will be. Next to the producer is the prompter operator, who runs the prompters out in the studio. They make sure to follow the talent as they talk through the script, so the talent has the next lines ready to go. All the way at the back of the room, we have the audio operator, who manages all of the sounds coming out of the studio and coming off of the video servers. Just like the director, they need to be listening to the producer to know what's coming off of which video server to make sure that the right sounds are played. They also need to make sure that the mics in the studio are muted during pre-recorded segments, so nothing accidentally goes to air. But all this is just the tip of the iceberg. The real processing gets done in the server room. Let's go take a look in there. Behind me is the server room. If the control room is the brains of our operation, this is the nervous center. Every piece of equipment you saw in the studio and in the control room is hardwired back to here, where we process the audio and video signals before sending them on to your cable provider. It takes so much energy that we cool it separately from the rest of the studio. That's why we've got these big heavy plastic flaps protecting the entrance. Let's go take a look what's going on inside. Now that we're inside the server room, you can see all the equipment that does the heavy lifting around here. We've got monitors for the cameras in the studio, our audio patch panel and processing system, video servers over there, and right here is the video call computer, which we use for socially distant video interviews. In fact, I think Jada's starting one right now.
All right, Cody, I just want to thank you for allowing me to interview you today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, of course. So to start off, could you just introduce yourselves to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Cody Berry. I'm an operations manager for a fast food franchise here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where we own and operate 7 restaurants in the quick service industry.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get right into the questions. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, how has COVID affected your business?
So yeah, when COVID first hit, I believe it took everyone a little bit by surprise, and we all had to change the way that we conduct ourselves. For instance, the closure of the lobbies. Early on, there were a bunch of government mandates requiring us to, first of all, we had some buffet units that we had to close down that service back in March, whenever the virus first started hitting us. So that obviously affected our revenue by about 30% in the units that had those buffets. So that was unfortunate. And then in addition to that, we also had to close down our lobbies. And we are a franchise of over 700 restaurants. So we essentially followed more stringent guidelines than Indiana actually had implemented. Essentially, we just went with whoever had the strictest policy across the U.S. That was just our company mandate. So we went ahead and closed our lobbies prior to anyone else. So we took a little bit of a hit there. But now, we have to wear masks in our restaurant. That's new for us. Of course, doing temp checks whenever employees come to work to make sure that they're not symptomatic, and to give them, just quick little, questions to verify that they, don't have COVID or haven't been exposed to COVID, as well as taking their temperature to make sure that they're not infectious at the time of coming to the restaurant. And then, in a sector where it's already a little difficult to hire people, and it's hard to find good workers, those workers are sometimes being forced to exit their job for 2 weeks, to do their 14-day quarantine if they test positive, or if a family member tests positive. So unfortunately, it took a pretty hard hit on us at the beginning, because we were losing some of our good employees to the COVID, and then we had those issues with just people were scared to work. People were scared to be in public whenever this whole thing first hit. And then with us having that magical 3x2 thing in our wall called a drive-through, it's actually helped us out quite a bit. Whenever Indiana went under a full lockdown, these quick service restaurants were the only places people were going. You couldn't go sit down at a casual dining or a fine dining restaurant anymore. All those guys had to close or go to carry out only. So we were blessed enough to have that drive-through window, that carry-out service, and also that delivery service. So that's how we continue to operate to this day. They keep going back and forth with the spikes of COVID, if lobbies are legally allowed to be open or if they can be open at what capacity. And, we made the decision just to keep ours closed because we're going with the strictest standards, and we're running really strong right now. And despite the buffet loss in sales, as a market, we're still up, we're still up positive in year-over-year sales. So that's really positive. So I would say that's a pretty high-level overview of how it's affected our business.
Awesome. Thank you so much for mentioning that. You did also mention about the lobbies closing, and I can definitely relate to that because I'm a bank teller. And so our lobbies went on lockdown as well, and we closed down. And so the only thing that were open were the ATMs. So I definitely could understand where you're coming from with that. And that leads me right into our next question. So COVID changed the way that consumers purchase things and the way that businesses sell things as well. So how was your organization affected by this?
You're absolutely correct. COVID has changed the way that consumers buy things across the board, and also changed the way that restaurants deliver their products to customers. Delivery services have been around for years. The convenience of them has always been approximately 2 to 3% of the restaurant industry's total sales. But in this time of COVID, in this time of uncertainty, where people are afraid to leave their house, they're afraid to get the kids out, they're afraid to, really do anything. The third-party delivery companies have really soared. Where we used to do 2 to 3% per unit on delivery, we're seeing upwards of 30%. I'm seeing in these restaurants that we close buffets in, we lost 30%, but then we gained 35% back on the delivery end. So consumers are definitely telling us, hey, we want our food delivered to us. And that has changed our corporation, right? So not even just our franchise, but our parent franchisor, they actually across the board have extremely expedited the rollout of all of the other delivery partners. Before, we only had one major partner that we were working with, but after COVID and after we saw how our customers were wanting our products delivered to them, we integrated all of the other ones across the board, even regional providers, even not the national providers, but even the local providers. We partnered with everybody to maximize and capitalize on all these sales, because in an industry, us thankfully not as much, but in an industry that's resoundingly, diminishing, in sales and in customer interaction, this is our avenue to get that guaranteed market share. So that's it's been great. So like these plans for digital enhancements and customer self-service, these things that we've kind of had on plans to do 2-3 years down the road, we basically did all in 2 months. So that's how it's that's how we've changed the way that we operate based on our customers' behaviors.
Wow. So it sounds like you guys just kind of adapted to what you needed to adapt to at the time. So that
rapidly so.
Yeah. So that definitely leads right into the next question. What did you learn? Like, what do you think your company learned during this pandemic?
Yeah, so, we learned a couple of different things. So obviously we learned how our customers reacted, but one thing that we were very intrigued on was the way that our employees felt in the restaurant. So we're a very hands-on company. I myself am very hands-on. I'm constantly in my restaurants, constantly working side by side with my team. I truly believe that, your team member experience isn't going to surpass your customer experience. If you're not treating your employees like kings and queens, you can't expect them to treat their customers as such, right? So, we noticed right away that our employees, they didn't feel super safe, right? So whenever masks back in March, before any mandates happened, our employees were proactive in saying, hey, I want to wear a mask. Can I wear a mask to work? Some of our competitors were saying no, we don't want to scare the customer. We don't want to make this a big deal. It's not a mandate. Let's not make it a big deal. Let's not scare people. While other companies were saying, hey, let's be super safe. Let's go ahead and mandate masks now, even though it's, either here nor there, whether it's really advised at the moment. So we obviously chose the latter. The employees felt safer with masks, so we made a mandate across the board. And then also, we actually, like I said, we closed the dining rooms because we found out that our employees just didn't feel safe interacting with customers on a direct basis. The plexiglass shields, before those were commonplace in banks and other retail environments, we had those installed. I distinctly remember going to Home Depot and custom cutting out those plexiglass shields to put in our drive-thrus to prevent, any kind of, possible sneezing or any kind of interaction between the customer and our employees. We adapted to all these things. That's now a standard very very early on before it was even really a thing. And then, of course, if a customer would come in without a mask on for a carryout order, or even a delivery partner comes in to pick up an order, we would, vacate them from the premise. We won't serve them if they don't have the mask on. They're not taking it seriously. So by doing those things, those are some things we learned, and we learned that we needed to continue our heritage of, or continue our, our vision of making sure our employees have a great place to work where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely mentioned one of the key factors, in my opinion, to success during the pandemic, and that's making sure that your employees feel safe and that they want to come to work. So that's awesome. But if I could ask you, if you could change anything about your approach, what would you do? What would you change about it?
Yeah, so if I had to change anything about my approach, I would say that we may have been a little too strict early on. So as I mentioned before, we kind of took the most extreme version of precaution possible. And early on, we were, if somebody was diagnosed or if somebody in the family was diagnosed with COVID, the CDC's guideline has always been quarantine for 14 days. If you don't have symptoms, come back to work. Or if you do have symptoms at the end of your symptomatic period, wait 14 days and come back to work. I chose to be a little more, again, in the interest of keeping the employees safe and feeling good, mainly. I made the decision that the employee had to have a positive test, or not positive, rather. They had to have a negative test to actually return to work, just to be as safe as possible. But we found out, recently that, any time that the COVID spikes, our providers get overwhelmed. They don't have enough tests. So for us to, somewhat unnecessarily require tests early on was definitely not, probably the best move. It was for making our employees feel good, but just resoundingly, as a population, probably wasn't that great of an idea. So we did scale that back a little bit. But if I could change anything, just, the more, but of course, I mean, I think that applies to everybody. The longer this pandemic goes on, the more we learn about it, and the more we, kind of figure out what we should have done different early on. So I'd say requiring those tests would be. Yeah, so I mean, throughout our conversation here, I've kind of told you a little bit about, how our business has adapted, how we've adapted to the changing climate. We're definitely optimistic for the future once, hopefully a vaccine gets out, and hopefully we, the days of COVID are behind us. But I do appreciate your time today, and I hope that your viewers got a little bit of a better understanding about our industry, and a little bit better understanding about who we are, and how we strive to take care of our communities and our people. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, Cody. We thank you for your time, and we thank you for allowing me to interview you today and just giving us more insight on what happened during the food services industry and what everything you've been through during the pandemic. So I appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. You were amazing.
All right.
Well, we finally made it. Enter the end of 2020, the year of trying to stay active, mentally and physically strong, and having a ball sometimes.
Anyone out there who's looking to be active, any movement throughout the day is beneficial for your health. But if you do go to the gym, make sure you wear a mask and wipe down your equipment for the next person for them to use it. Be safe out there.
Anybody feeling tennis and home workouts? You good.
Welcome to Our New Normal's 2020 update. I'm Chandler Witzergooder.
And I'm Whitney Twig. 2020 has been called many things. Unprecedented, one for the record books, as well as the equivalent of chewing on tinfoil. Most people don't want to remember today, let alone the whole year. It's been so bad that the world's supplier of cringeworthy content, YouTube, announced that they will not be releasing a year in review video this year. Lucky for you, we've gathered the biggest things that happened in 2020, so you don't have to.
2020 opened with bushfires that swept across Australia, destroying over 46 million acres because apparently Mother Nature took us a little too seriously when we said that this year was going to be fire.
Earlier this year, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced that they would be stepping down as senior members of the British royal family, marking the first time a royal has ever declared independence from Britain. Now that Harry and Meghan have a lot more time on their hands, Meghan has expressed interest in reigniting her acting career. So make sure to check out The Royal House Bands of Beverly Hills, coming this summer on Bravo.
Of course, the biggest news story to come out of 2020 was the COVID-19 global pandemic. The pandemic left most Americans sheltering in place for the most of the spring and the summer, left with only their thoughts and streamable content. Shows like Netflix's Love is Blind were there to pass the time. However, many began to question if the pandemic was actually because Jessica was 34 and Mark was 24. And because that was only enough episodes to fill a day or two, focus quickly shifted to the TV show equivalent of The People of Walmart, Netflix's Tiger King, which documents the lives of big cat owners, in particular the poster child of Nancy Reagan's Just Say No campaign, Joe Exotic. And yet owning dozens of tigers and his eccentric clothing and behavior is not the craziest thing from the show. It was the owner of Big Cat Rescue, Carol Baskin, and the mysterious disappearance of her millionaire husband, Don Lewis, whom many, including his family, believe that she had something to do with. Some believing it so much that they turned it into a song.
Although Tiger King and Love is Blind were entertaining inside the bubble, perhaps the videos of boomers being put in their places was what became the most entertaining thing this year. While some considered the pandemic to be the biggest concern, the United Karens and Kyles of America directed their focus to the supposed infringement of their rights, being asked to wear a mask, because wearing a mask is clearly the biggest threat to our rights right now. But what about my rights to basic necessities? You know, like toilet paper? Because apparently pooing yourself silly is a secondary symptom of COVID.
Just in case we thought that the virus was getting a little too scary for us, the universe called our bluff and supplied the world momentarily with murder hornets, a threat which somehow lasted longer than Felicity Huffman's jail time. And now seamlessly segueing from the big house to the White House, as the entire world is letting out a sigh of relief because ding dong, the Cheeto is gone. The Associated Press has officially called the 2020 election in favor of President-elect Joe Biden, who will be sworn in as the 46th President of the United States on January 20th of next year, and I, for one, cannot wait. 44 days. I am hoping that this historic win will serve as a much-needed reset button and will bring us a better 2021.
That's the year in review. Thanks for watching, and have a pleasant 2021.
It's Mifa, baby.
SMB got them hits, boy. 2020, what I've been on lately. I lost hope when I saw casualties. I don't know what to do anymore. 2020, what I've been on lately. I lost hope when I saw casualties. I don't know what to do anymore.
You ruined the lives of hundreds of millions. You came and murdered harmless civilians. Unpayable bills with high amounts. People fearing their empty bank accounts. You know, pool blood everywhere you go. And his Trump thoughts crossed with nothing to show but election fraud claims that have been debunked. And it sounds like the Trump man just got Trump. COVID's a hoax, man, it can't be real. But we've lost 13 million plus to it this year. COVID-19, police brutality, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, one too many couches. Another black man killed with no conviction. Black Lives Matter gassed into submission. 2021's under reconstruction, cause 2020's been the year of destruction.
Voice got locked up and I got caught up. Doubles on come up, all the rights blown up. All the rights blown up. All the rights blown up.
Seeing a bigger picture like I'm baby. Double overseas like he's in the Navy. 2020 year of destruction. People fired up over corruption. You took away our black mambas. Rest in peace, Kobe and Gianna. You took away our Black Panther. 2020, man, you're just a cancer. Found out the Astros were stealing signs. Trying to catch up like a bottle of Heinz. We had swarms of the killer hornets. While Australia burns like a furnace. Flint's still going without clean water. Let's put an end to the manslaughter. Like 2012, we were set to die. 2020, time to say goodbye.
I can't stress enough, the world gone mad. I can't lie anymore, everybody's sad. Now I'm all alone, now I'm on my own. Everybody that I ever loved is dead. 2020, what I've been on lately. I lost hope when I saw casualties. I don't know what to do anymore. 2020, what I've been on lately. I lost lost hope when I saw casualties. I don't know what to do anymore.
Alfred Hitchcock, Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas. All these names live in infamy in the world of directing major motion picture films. But have you ever wondered how broadcasts like the news, sporting events, award and talk shows, and Saturday Night Live are done? If you have, you'll want to stick around because we're about to take you behind the scenes here at Our New Normal. First up, we have, you guessed it, the director. Now you might be thinking, oh, I already know what the director does. They're the guy that yells out action or cut. Well, that is true of directors in film and other aspects of television. The role of director for live TV is much, much different. Trust me. But if you don't believe me, I'm sure my friend Whitney will make you a believer. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, it's your director for the last episode of Our New Normal, Whitney Twig. I'm here to give you an inside peek at what it means to be a director for this show. The biggest thing is that you need to be in constant communication with many people. You are the producer's right-hand man, so communication with them is key. They'll be telling you which video is up next and what channel it's on. Your job is to check in with audio, graphics, and the floor manager to make sure they're all on the same page when it comes time to hit your button. The graphics person will be letting you know where the correct graphic you need is, whether it be a full screen or a lower third. You'll be the one to communicate to the floor manager when the talent is about to go live. And you need to make sure the audio person is ready to turn on the sound for the right segment or person. As a director, it is your job to hit all the right buttons. You are the one that controls what is being seen live and what is being cut to. But remember, if you mess it up, just let it go. Please don't go crazy and hit all the buttons to try to fix your mistake. Real quick, I just want to give a huge shout out to our past directors, Chandler, Louise, and Katana. Y'all rocked it, and hopefully I can do the same. Enjoy.
3, 2, 1.
Where's the host?
Are we just asking each other questions, or like someone in charge of this?
Okay, guys, sorry for the wait. Hair and makeup took way too long, but I'm here. So, hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Our New Normal's game show. I have the infamous Whitney Twig and the Chandler Whittaker, and let's get right into it. So, we have to play the infamous game that decides all decisions, which is rock, paper, scissors, to see who's going to go first. So, best 2 out of 3, and start.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
One for me.
I was like, wait. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
One for Whitney.
Okay. Oh, we're tied. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! And we have a winner. So, Chandler, you're going to start us off. So, pick your category and your number.
Jada, I would like to do miscellaneous for 200, please.
Okay, so, for miscellaneous 200, we have who was elected president and vice president of 2020?
Beep, boop.
So, y'all both wrote Diane at the same time. So, we just gonna go with Chandler. You get it this time.
Who are President-elect Joe R. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris?
That's correct. The answer is President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Got that right. You get to pick the next question.
I would like to do class for 100, please.
All right, so for class for 100, we have the question, how many cameras are in the studio?
Beep, boop.
Whitney?
How many is 3 cameras?
Ding! You got it right. So we have what, 100 points for Whitney, 200 points for Chandler?
Yeah, but I'm coming for it.
Okay.
So.
She said she's coming for you. So we're gonna see.
I'm holding my ground, woman.
Okay, Whitney, so since you got that right, you get to pick the next question.
Okay, let's just keep it where we're at and do class for 200, please.
All right, so we've got class for 200. What kind of transition is an automatic failure?
Beep boop.
Chandler?
Cut to black.
That is it, but that's not the answer.
What
Beep,
is?
boop, boop, boop.
Whitney?
What is a jump cut?
Ding, 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 ding.
Woo!
The correct answer was jump cut. A tricky question because we can't have cuts to black, but yeah. Sorry, you didn't get that.
It's okay.
Okay,
I'm
Whitney.
still gonna kick her butt.
So you get to ask the next question.
Let's take it, class, for 300, please.
So class for 300. In order, list the hosts for each episode.
Ding, ding, boom.
Whitney, you're on a roll again.
Okay. Who is episode number 1? Jada Burton. Who is episode number 2? Whitney Twig. Who is episode number 3? Luis Alvarez. And who is episode number 4? Chandler Witzigerter.
Ding, ding, ding. You got that right. Oh, no, Chan, you got to redeem yourself. So, Whitney, since you got that one right, you get to pick the next question again.
Okay, we're jumping sides here. I'm going to take that miscellaneous for 100, please.
So, miscellaneous for 100. Where did the name of our show come from?
Zing-boo.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to Chandler this time.
What is because of COVID and our new normal is like our society.
It's definitely because of COVID.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I'm still beating you, so it's fine.
She said she's
Up
coming
here,
for
you're
you.
not. Up here, I'm always winner.
Okay, guys. We still got a chance. It's okay. It's anyone's game. All right, so since you took the win for that one, you get to pick the next question.
Let's do miscellaneous for 500.
So miscellaneous for 500. What does Art's wardrobe consist of?
Boop, boop.
I saw your hand first. So, Chan, you take the cake this time.
What is an Atlanta Braves baseball cap? Navy blue, faded, it's old. A flannel button-up shirt, blue jeans, and Docs.
What? Ding, 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 ding. You got it right.
And his mask.
Can't forget the mask. Hello, hold the theme of our show. You got that one right, so you get to go again.
All right, let's take it to class for 400, please.
Okay, so class for 400. Which position in the control room does not wear a headset?
Beep, boop, boop, doop.
Whitney, go ahead and answer.
Who is the prompter?
Ding, 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 ding. You got that right, girl. Okay, so you get to pick the next question. We're getting down to the wire here, it seems like.
Okay, we're just going to go home, class, bye, honey.
All right, so for class for 500, how many live tape interviews did we have?
Zing, bop, bop.
Good.
How many is 3?
Wah, wah, wah. The real answer was... Oh, wait, I got to let you go.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is 5?
The real answer was 5.
That's a guess. When in doubt, answer's always 5.
The Skype interviews.
Okay, Jan, you get to go again since you got that right.
All right, miscellaneous for 3.
All right, miscellaneous for 300. Where were Luis's pants in episode 1?
La 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 boop. Where is a box of useless stuff?
Ding, 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 ding. You got that right.
Useless jump would have.
Okay, Whitney, so it looks like you are going to ask the last question.
Okay, miscellaneous for 400. Here we go.
So for miscellaneous for 400, on what day did the fall 2020 semester begin?
What is August 24th?
Ding, 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 ding. You got it right. Chandler comes out to be the winner. Well, guys, that's all we have. That's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for tuning into our game show, and we'll see you soon.
Hello all, it's me again. Despite this crazy, turbulent, and very inconsistent 2020 we've been going through for obvious reasons, we've all still had to figure out ways to live our lives so as close to normal as possible, given the current COVID-19 restrictions we're under right now and the restrictions we've been under for the last few months. Sports and staying active won't be the same for a while, but hopefully what you've seen is that sports and staying active can still happen despite our current troubles. Hopefully this thing will be over sooner than later and we can get back to living our normal lives carefree. Have a good rest of 2020, everyone.
Time at the audio board, I picked up on a couple of tips that I figured would be nice to give you in the behind the scenes. So there are a couple main components to the audio board, the first one being, obviously, audio. When you're in charge of the audio board, your job is to make sure that everything sounds clear, crisp, and balanced. You do not want one video package to be immensely louder than the one that came before it, and you do not want it to be immensely quieter than the one that came before it. As you can see here, I am adjusting these two dials. Each one of these dials pertains to one of the microphones that is being worn by someone who is talking in the studio. I am adjusting these as I am testing the audio to ensure that they will be crisp and clear for the audience to hear. Over here I am seen messing around with more dials. These ones pertain to the video packages that are on the server. My goal is to make sure that these videos are equally balanced and sound clear as well. You can see here that this audio level is ideal. When you create audio levels, you want it to maintain between the green and the red. You do not want it to be in the high part of the yellow line, but you want it to maintain in the middle of the yellow line. This is the ideal level for audio. This allows the audio to be crisp, clear, and easily perceived by the audience. Too low and it'll be a little quieter with potentially static. Too high and the audio is distorted and almost impossible to understand clearly. This has been the behind the scenes of the audio board.
Okay, so we've seen what the director does and we saw how they operate the audio board. But what about the producer? Who even is the producer? Well, in short, they're the ones who are in charge and they're making sure everything gets done. They need to be quick on their feet, good at communicating, and good at adding up times. I was lucky enough to be the producer of our last episode, and I'll tell you that being a producer was the most stressful and fun thing I've ever done. So let's go back to our control room and check in with Katana and see what it's like to be a producer.
Being a producer can be hard. You have to make a rundown, make sure it's in sequence, and you're pretty much in charge of everything. You have to make sure you meet time requirements. You have to make sure things stay on track. It is always a good idea to make sure videos work before the day you air so you don't run into more problems than needed. Always check and double check, maybe even triple check. On the day of the show, you have to communicate with your team.
3,
Here I am counting down
2,
seconds until we go
1.
live. Extra tip, always start on an even number to help keep track of time and start an additional timer. It is always better to have more than one clock going. Now, when it comes to uploading videos to the server, there are 4 channels to upload in. To upload a single video in a channel, you will drag and drop the video into one of the smaller boxes in the corner. If you want to make a playlist, you will drag and drop into the longer columns. Being a producer can be stressful, but with a few deep breaths and a support from your team, it will all work out.
Art is awesome.
I heard he films documentaries in Fort Wayne.
I heard he owns multiple button-up shirts.
And an Atlanta Braves hat.
I heard his camera equipment is insured for $10,000.
One time, he laughed at my joke. It was awesome.
2020 was so crazy.
I know, I'm ready for it to be over.
Me too. I need a new fresh start.
So do I.
How do you think 2021's gonna be?
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
We could go to concerts again.
We don't have to wear masks anymore.
Maybe there'll be a COVID vaccine.
Restaurants will be at full capacity.
No more takeout.
We could travel again.
My luggage is probably so dusty. Buffets will be back to normal.
And there will be free samples at grocery stores again.
No more social distancing.
So we can hug again.
Whoa, too close!
6 feet!
As we all know, the year of 2020 has been probably the hardest year many of us have ever gone through. It's been very negative with a lot of bad stuff that's happened. So I decided to interview some of my classmates to just see what something positive was that happened, bring a little positive light to 2020. So let's check in on their answers.
It's gonna sound really cheesy, but I actually made friends this year. Normally at school, I'm like, I go in, head down, I don't talk to anybody, which that kind of started to change a little bit in the spring, but this semester I really started to talk to people in my classes and get to know them, so I actually have friends for once, so that's nice. And then additionally, like personally, I've noticed that I've become more confident in like my abilities and who I am. I'm not too afraid to kind of like shade that away and like hide that from people. And I've noticed that people kind of actually like who I am, so that's kind of cool.
Something positive that happened in 2020, I think 2020 made me realize the drive I have in myself, just because it was a hard year. And I think it just really showed me to myself that despite a pandemic, despite the world being flipped upside down, you can still do it. You can still live. You can still go to work. You can still, you know, complete school and excel at it. I think it just made me look at me differently, and it opened my eyes that I'm really cool and I can like get a lot done despite what's going on around me.
Like, well, all the bad things happen, but I feel like, to me, I got a lot bigger off of my music actually, because a lot of people, like all the concerts and everything got canceled, so a lot of smaller artists got more recognition. So I was kind of one of them.
For me, something that was positive in 2020, although it was terrifying, I moved in with my boyfriend and his kids, but it ended up being a great experience, just because I've learned a lot about myself. You know, I've always wanted to be a mom, but this year, like, I actually had to step up and be a mom, and I realized like how difficult it is to be a mother, be a manager at work, and be a full-time student. But I've still done it. I'm still doing it. I didn't give up on any of those, so I'm actually really proud of myself for doing that.
Well, that's the wrap on Our New Normal. Thanks for joining and learning with us throughout the whole semester. We all hope that you loved watching it as much as we loved making it. I can't speak for my classmates, but I'm pretty sad that this class is ending. But in the words of a good friend of mine, it's never goodbye, it's just see you real soon. So from us here at Our New Normal, Happy New Year, and we'll see you real soon.
Let's do this thing.
Waiting for my cue.
So what's a ghost's favorite shoe?
Let's do that again.
What's a ghost's favorite soccer? Hold on, I'm falling down.
What sucks about this could die halfway through and we won't know.
You ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Not as ready as I am.
What is that?
It's an award.
Yeah, right after the midnight. Right after the midnight.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Bless
I tried
you.
to hold that in. I tried so hard to hold that in.
Oh my god.
I got the wave in, but it's not enough cushion footage. I'm so sorry.
Take 75. Take 75.
Probably is.